Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladinolive network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pod, MN, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Audible, Stitcher, and Double Twist. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you. Once again today, Minnesota Timberwolves played 4 games, so it's 4 games to review, 3 to preview. A week that I thought the Wolves could go 3-1, they went 2-2.
Here we go. God. Oh, what? Come on!
Well, damn it anyway. Freaking Pelicans hit, 9 threes in a row.
What the hell can you do?
So that's just how that goes. Freaking Pelicans. Wolves could have beaten them, but obviously they're better than their record. But yeah, that's a loser's lament, isn't it? Okay, let's get to the 4 games it's a lot to talk about as usual. Or at least a lot of games to talk about anyway. Minnesota 135-105 over the OKC Thunder. Fun game last Friday. Lots of fun. Nice to see the Wolves just kind of go out and kick some butt. Vando getting 16 rebounds. It was just a fun overall night, overall kind of team effort type of game. SGA did not have his best performance. He had a great game earlier. He had a great game the other night against a different team for the fantasy club. Naz Reid, very, very solid. Off the bench, Josh Okogie's back in the rotation, at least for this game. The rotation kind of fluctuates. Jalen Noel limited to only 11.5 minutes. Still managed to get 10 points because he's just that good, attacking the rim and getting to the line and all that. 6 free throws attempted. Not bad, eh? Made 5 of them, by the way. Karl Anthony Towns, only 11 attempts in the game. D'Angelo Russell shot the freaking lights out. Unbelievable. All he did was miss 1 3. That's it. 11 to 12 from the floor with 12 assists. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. I had a feeling D'Angelo Russell would play well against the OKC Thunder, and it was kind of cool to see that. I like the city jersey thing. I like the vibe, how they do this in the NBA. It's like a 4th jersey, and then you turn the whole court like different colors and stuff. I think it's cool. Kind of got that black and white kind of gray look. I kind of like that. Kind of like what OKC did. I mean, I don't always like that. I wouldn't want that as a primary jersey, but sometimes, like certain city years, is okay. And it's cool how it changes from year to year. I enjoy that. Anthony Edwards was obviously very solid, 6 of 9 from the floor. He has really been picking up his 3-point shot of late, and that's a really good sign. Must have been working on it during the course of time, and he's just getting better. I hope it's not just a little run where things are going to catch up. I hope this is a continuing trend for Anthony Edwards. He's averaging just under 23 a game in points total for the season. But from downtown, it's been a climb during the course of the season. Like back in October in 5 games, 32%. November in 16 games, 35%. Okay, a little better. December, 8 games, 40.6. January so far, 42.4. That is a very nice trend, and he's averaging 24 points a game. And that's 7 games already. It's been a busy little month of January, hasn't it? 7 games already. It's been a game every other night, which is good. I'm happy about the more the merrier. Let's get these games played. Hockey is going to take forever to get caught up, or they're going to have to play like triple headers or something, or like, not triple headers, but back to back to back, possibly kind of like during like lockout seasons in the past. But there'll be a lot of back to backs. Expect some goalies to get some backup goalies to get some extra minutes. In that case, in the hockey world. Sorry for venturing off into the other side of the sporting world at the moment. Well, let's talk about the NFL play. Okay, just kidding. Fun overall night. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my God, it didn't have you on the edge of your seat, but it was fun. It was chill. Sometimes it's nice. It's nice to not have a close game. Like, let's get to football. Like every game the Vikings play, it's always close, and against, even no matter how crappy the team is, it's close. And it's like, stop screwing around, man. Where the Wolves didn't screw around. They, squashed a mosquito with an axe. That saying that's been around about 30 years now. Jaden McDaniel started and only had 1 rebound, but Jared Vanderbilt got them all. I mean, again, 16 rebounds. Nobody came close in the game in that category. Multiple See, yeah, like I was saying last week, Oklahoma City, really good team effort in the rebounding. It was kind of everybody with like 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. But then Vando, again, 16, taking him all the way from Carl, and he's got 5 offensive rebounds in this particular night. Great night for Vando. Again, one of my favorite Timberwolves in the whole league. And you're going to hear me mention a guy who just might be my new favorite non-Timberwolf in the NBA. I'll get to him very shortly. And he ain't on the Houston Rockets. 11-30 on the season. Wolves win comfortably again, 141-123. It's just again, like squashing the mosquito with the axe. Karl Anthony Towns with 40 points. Anthony Edwards, was solid early. But in a lot of ways, when you want to say how the night probably belonged to Karl Anthony Towns and with a 40-point game, you'd think it would. But Jared Vanderbilt from the Houston area. And, it shows what happens, though, when the team does give him a shot to kind of get things going a bit, attacking the rim, giving him the ball and giving him scoring opportunities. Since, obviously, it's not just him, like, doing it himself and shooting threes and beating people off the dribble, obviously, no. But, giving him scoring opportunities, look what happens. And, yes, it's Houston. But still, 21-19, are you freaking kidding me? He did add 2 blocks and 2 steals in the game. And this is only in 31 minutes. I mean, he could have easily gotten to 20-20. And isn't that amazing? Really cool. He's definitely not... The whole Junkyard Dog thing is over. He's not Junkyard Dog. He's well beyond that guy now. Junkyard Dog was like a 5-and-5 kind of guy, who'd play, he'd play like 17 minutes a night. But I liked him, and a lot of people did. Jerome Williams with the Raptors and other teams out there. The Junkyard Dog. That was Jared Vanderbilt's role when he first got rolling in the league. Now maybe he is a Rodman type. But one thing about Jared Vando that does need to happen, because he's always laying on the floor like, oh, man. And I know that's part of it. That's part of his game. Dennis Rodman did that quite a bit, obviously, as well. He was on the ground a lot, and getting knocked around and such. But he does need to bulk up. Obviously, once he bulks up a little bit, that'll help him even more, and I'm sure he will, being the fact he's still in his very early 20s, Jared Vanderbilt. Man, just all you can do is stand and applaud for the guy. It's just wonderful, wonderful story. Wonderful what he's brought to this team. And I never want to see him play on another team. Like that's how much I like Jared Vanderbilt. I never want to see him go. Please, please, please keep Jared Vanderbilt as long as you can. Please. The fear with some people might be like, oh boy, he's going to want like 70, 80 million, and oh, well, maybe he's going to deserve about 60-ish at least. And maybe that money, like Malik Beasley's money could end up going outward, and Jared Vanderbilt hopefully can take over in that category. But of course, you may have to have money come back and blah, blah, blah. But we'll see. It's always workable. You have to get creative and such, and that's on Sachin Gupta or the new president of basketball operations. But I think it's going to be Gupta. That's just my guess. But you never know. There's a strong possibility of that. The Wolves did not have to sign any more of the 10-day guys. It's interesting. It was fun to watch that, just to kind of keep up with, like, wow, like some of these names, like, wow, he was already out of the league? Like Greg Monroe. I couldn't believe he was out of the league. Where, Joe Johnson, of course, he's 40 years old. And that's like, I didn't even realize he was already 40 years old. It's freaking crazy, but it was also kind of cool to see him coming back again. Like, where's White Chocolate? Jason Williams. It's hard to believe how old those guys are already. It seems like yesterday. Wasn't White Chocolate on the world champion 2006 Miami Heat, I believe? But then again, it's like 2006. That is 16 years ago. Wow. And yeah, that was when, BlackBerries were the king of the world, and Bluetooth was this exciting new technology, which still is an exciting technology to me because it's, Bluetooth cannot be taken for granted, by the way, as long as it works, it works properly. But just say it, it's taking you way back in the day. BlackBerries were like the smartphone. And then Steve Jobs had his little announcement, and this cute little thing, came out that people obsess over. And then Samsung said, oh, yeah, well, what about us? And blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but a comfortable win for the Wolves versus the Houston Sprockets. They're not the Rockets, they're the Sprockets, because they're back to sucking again. They had their jump up when Chris Paul went there, and that was a really nice basketball team for about a year or so there. And then they got kind of lazy, they got kind of complacent, they got kind of like haters. They started like not getting along and all that. Sounds kind of like Vikings and Wild, before Bill Guerin got to the Wild and the Vikings this whole season and last season and stuff, and probably well before that, back to 18 at least. Christian Wood is a name that's been floating around in trade rumors. Probably have to give up a little bit to get Christian Wood, though. And he's pretty good. Christian Wood is good. Yeah, he's like their best player right now, isn't he? 17-10. He's pretty good. And he was an undrafted free agent. Impressive. Yeah, kind of bounced around the league a little bit, but Philadelphia in 15-16, Charlotte 16-17. Yeah, very much kind of screwing around. Not really a big factor, unfortunately, for the poor guy. And then he popped up with New Orleans with 16, 17 points a game, 8 rebounds. Went to Milwaukee, got buried, literally buried. And then the last couple of years of Detroit and now Houston, he's carved out a niche. I mean, heck, last season he averaged 21 points a game. So kind of nice little story there as well. Christian Wood, born in 95. So he's Carl's age, of course. But he's got something going. Got something going for him. But again, a nice, comfortable win for the Timberwolves. Not a whole lot to complain about, generally speaking. It just was one of those kind of nights where, again, the whole time you just kind of kick your feet up and enjoy. That's kind of what it was. It's not like we shot as well, but to watch Vando play the way he did, and to see the team hook him up in Houston, which is where he's from, the Houston area, to see them hook him up and help him produce and all that. My God! And again, it does show you what Vando can do when given opportunities. It does show you. He's not going to do it against everybody, but it's there. The ability's there. He's gonna make some money. That is a fact. So 2 wins. Now let's get to the 2 losses. Come on, Pelicans. Why'd you have to get hot on us, you son of a biscuit? Okay, I know. I'm trying not to curse. Off the mic, it might be a little different. Maybe a couple of huge 4-letter words when somebody hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer, basically the walk-off. 15-26. Yeah, it was. Let me tell you. Look at this. It's like a stock chart, the whole win probability, and it's just kablooey at the last second. Ridiculous. But what was annoying is how we left this team in striking distance the whole flipping game. It was really annoying. We led by 1. We led by 1 after the first quarter, only 1 point. We trailed at halftime and continued to trail. And we just kind of didn't take charge. We, being the Timberwolves, of course, didn't take charge during the course of this game. And you just kind of had that feeling for most of the way, like, are we going to lose to these guys again? Come on, man. Stop this nonsense. D'Angelo Russell got a little trigger happy, and it seems like, did you ever notice this? And it's like, it's everywhere. It's everybody, damn it. Whenever they're not shooting well, they attempt more shots. And it's like 7 of 11. Well, why didn't you get more attempts? But then they make 6 and attempt 15 or 20. It's like, come on. It's always in the opposite, incorrect direction. You are absolutely incorrect. Okay, sorry. Just stealing a line from a certain somebody I'm not a big fan of, but it was a funny sounding line. The Wolves lost because Jared Vanderbilt only got 5 rebounds, though. Rando, you suck. You only got 5 rebounds. Unacceptable, Jared. Come on, man. Come on. No, it's because the freaking Hornet Pelicans were making how many shots? They shot 55%. That's why. 48.5 from downtown, and it does help to make your 9 last 3-point attempts in the game. It was getting to a point where you rip your hair out, you dig ruts in your cheeks with your fingernails, and you start bleeding all over the place, that kind of thing. It was that kind of thing. That's what it felt like. It was like, where you scratch the chalkboard with your fingernails, scrape it, whatever the heck the word is. That's what it felt like. Another 3-pointer. Oh my God, another 3-pointer. And it just kept happening. 6 of 7 from Ingram, and of course the 6th one was the kiss of death. It was the blue screen and all that crap. Why did it have to happen? I don't know, but it just did. It just did. What the hell can you do? Like Jerry Burns said at the beginning of the episode there, in the soundbite, in his 1989 F-bomb ridden press conference. What did the Vikings make? 6 field goals in the game and no touchdowns, and the fans booed the offensive coordinator. And yeah, that's what led to that. But what the hell can you do? That kind of thing. That's what it felt like, though, in the course of this game. Anthony Edwards, again, nice performance, generally speaking, I guess. He was 6 of 12 from downtown. I mean, hey, 50%, making half of your threes. That's pretty good. Yeah, but Ingram was 6 of 7, so you suck. Yep. Malik Beasley did not suck. And again, this is another one. Malik Beasley. he finally makes shots, and then he only attempts 10, which is, again, it's just kind of, it's ironic. Malik Beasley in 30 minutes attempted 10 shots, 6 of 8 from downtown. But then when he's not shooting well, it's 4 of 15. Doesn't that just drive you nuts? Doesn't that just grind your whatever? Doesn't that just drive you crazy? Yeah, bottom line. 6 of 15 for D'Angelo Russell. That's where that rant started. I don't know. It's not like the Wolves sucked in the game. The Pelicans played really well, and it was just kind of their night. I mean, 48.8 is pretty good. And then Wolves shot 46%. We made 18 threes. So it was kind of a shootout. But, of course, magically in a shootout, we're going to lose. Even against the freaking Pelicans. Isn't that annoying? Isn't that stupid? Lots of scoring, though, in this week, isn't there been? Hasn't there been, pardon me. 128, 125 on the walk-off. Brandon Ingram. So Brandon Ingram did a Stephon Diggs, and the New Orleans Pelicans walked off. Walked off on the Timberwolves. Yeah, he did a Stephon Diggs. It was bourbon. No. It was what it was. I don't want to even say. It was a miracle for New Orleans. Let's just move on. Bourbon Street miracle. Well, and then we get to the next game with the Memphis Grizzlies. And now I'm going to name. You guys probably know already now. You could probably guess who is my favorite non-Timberwolf right now in the NBA. It was Kawhi Leonard for a while, and it still kind of is. He's the other one, but the fact he's been out forever again in an ACL, and I don't know, it's the second year where he's been out, for a long time. Like he was with the Spurs, and he was holding out. It was a combination of things. But Ja Morant makes the game look so easy. I mean, everything he does. And he didn't even play well in this game. 5 of 16, but everything he did just looks simple and easy. And it's just that the smoothness of his game, the explosiveness, the athleticism, the confidence without the ultra cockiness. You know what I'm saying? He's very confident. He's like Anthony Edwards, where he's not a jerk about it. Like a Steph Curry is a jerk about it. I don't. That's why I don't like him. Klay Thompson is kind of, there's a reason why he was my favorite Golden State Warrior, even though I can't stand that team. My God, something. Yeah. My favorite Golden State Warrior is Klay Thompson. It would be Draymond Green if he wasn't such a jackass, but I like him a little more than I used to. He's making a little more sense these days. I'll just leave it at that. But, nudge, nudge. He's making a little more sense than he used to. But generally speaking, Ja Morant's game and the confidence he exudes and the way he makes his team better, even though they were played super well without him earlier in the season. There's something cooking in Memphis. And it isn't just the dry rub ribs. Let me tell you, because Memphis ribs are really nice. But it isn't just the music either. That's a really good team, and they deserve to win that Southwest Division. 30-14. What have they won? 9 in a row now? I mean, they've just been off the charts great. Wolves didn't even shoot well in the game, 42%. We still made 15 threes, but it took, 48 to get there. 48. Malik Beasley. See, here we go again. Malik. 1 of 7. 1 of 7 from downtown, only 3 points. Pat Beverly didn't shoot well as he'd been out again. He returns. Obviously, it's the best starting lineup in the NBA. It is. It is the best starting lineup in terms of the intangibles and analytically. It's the best starting lineup in the league. But Beverly did not play well, at least on the offensive side of the game necessarily. Did provide the defense, did provide the energy, but unfortunately he did not shoot well at all. Naz Reid, 1 of 8. Malik Beasley, 1 of 8. Pat Beverly, 1 of 9. I mean, there's no way you're going to win playing like that. It's horrible. Anthony Towns, 11 of 17. Russell, 11 of 19. I mean, those are good shooting nights for those two guys. They should have just kept going. And impressive numbers by the big three, but a little help from some of the other pieces would have been nice. Again, like Reed missing everything and all that. It just drives you nuts. But, I mean, Edwards could have been better, below 50%, this and that. Just, I don't know. It's always the guy that doesn't shoot well that gets the most attempts. That drives me crazy. Where somebody like Karl Anthony Towns probably could have had 40 again. 11 and 17, this and that. So that's the one thing. The rebounding wasn't so great in the game either. It just wasn't. Only 34. Vanderbilt did get 13, but it felt like he didn't have a whole lot of help necessarily, except for, Pat Beverly Pat Beverly does deserve credit with his 8 rebounds. That's outstanding for a point guard. But, my goodness, John Conchar with 17. He was eating us alive down the stretch. 56-34 in the rebounding category. That's just no surprise Memphis won the game. And Memphis can beat you in these grinded out, lower scoring games, and they can beat you, 135 to 130. They can do it either way. And that's what's so great about the Memphis Grizzlies. They are a contender, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up the week in terms of the 4 games. The Lone Wolf Award is going to probably, it could kind of go all over the place. I mean, Anthony Edwards had an unbelievable play during the course of this week. That was the Pelicans game. Up and under, kind of Michael Jordan style, spectacular, underneath the basket, from one side of the basket, kind of doing that little pump fake, that little fake to draw the defense one way as he's in the air, goes underneath the other side and just angled the ball just right as he was going down off the glass. A unbelievable Michael Jordan-esque type of play in that game. And he had a lot of great plays during the course of this week. I forget what his numbers were. Yeah, 28. I mean, he had an unbelievable week. I'm going to give the Lone Wolf Award to Anthony Edwards, even though he didn't have a perfect game against the Memphis Grizzlies, but really nobody did. Anthony Edwards is the Lone Wolf. He had an unbelievable week. Again, great shooting during the course of this week and some unbelievable plays. Certainly not a perfect week. Certainly not a spectacular week, but damn good. Damn good, and all the respect in the world heading in Anthony Edwards' direction. The Johnny Flynn Memorial, despite having a great week with or a great game, against the Pelicans, I think it goes to Beasley. He's back to kind of not shooting well. It's frustrating to watch. It's a pain in the butt, but generally speaking, it kind of is what it is. Jared Vanderbilt, obviously strong honorable mention. What an amazing week again, and especially that Houston game. That was an absolute pleasure to watch, but I'm going to give it to Malik Beasley. I've just been generally disappointed in him most of the season, even though he did get a lone wolf a few weeks back in the absence of the main cogs in this club. But Malik Beasley gets that. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and preview 3 games after this. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion. 3 games to preview. 3 games to preview. But actually, I'm going to enjoy the East Coast ones, the Eastern Conference games anyway. But the first one gets to be the Golden State Warriors. We haven't played them in a little bit. I guess we did play them last year. This wasn't like hockey. And they're back to, they're together again. The one and only, together again. They're friends, just you and me, yeah. Well, Wiseman, knee surgery as of October the 18th, so obviously, unfortunately there. Left calf tightness for Draymond Green, for DG, big DG of the Golden State Warriors. We'll see what happens if he plays. I bet he will, but it's just kind of like general type of injury. They're back, and I hate it. I like Klay Thompson and everything, but I hate that the Warriors are back to like being a favorite to win a title, because they are. They're back. Come on, Phoenix. Take care of business this time. Take care of business, this time, and for multiple reasons. Chris Paul beat the Warriors this time. Came so damn close with the Houston Rockets, and you had that stupid hamstring injury. Houston would have won the title that year, most likely. But of course not. But of course not. Houston would have beaten Cleveland, right? I mean, of course. Oh, God. I don't want to say Golden State win another championship. It just scares the crap out of me. But Phoenix is excellent. They're actually ahead of Golden State, if you can believe it right now. Best record in the league. So it is what it is there. Steph Curry's actually been hitting a shooting slump lately. Yeah, after he pretty much, it was like right after he broke the all-time 3 points made record, passing Ray Allen, who I believe passed Larry Bird before that. So all the great names like the Larry Birds and such are all gone now in terms of records and such. It's a bummer. You get all these newbies. Ugh, that's all they are to me. I know, I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm a grouch. Golden State actually has been losing lately, which is nice. They got absolutely crushed by Milwaukee last night. That's good. That's a good sign. I hope the Bucks, if the Bucks are going out to try to repeat again, it's good. They may have to play some road games, but, well, actually the East is extremely tight. Like everybody has like 27 wins and such, but the Bucks have lost 17 games already. That's a far cry from 11 with Golden State. So 6 games are not that easy to make up. Timberwolves and Warriors are actually like 1 point apart in points per game. That's crazy. It's just the intangibles. Golden State gets 5 rebounds. They're 5th in the league in rebounding. It helps when you have Draymond Green, I suppose. But we got Vando. Bulk up a bit, Vando, and you could be like Draymond Green out there. Field goal percentage, yeah, I think we're a little bit behind there. 9th to 25th. Free throw percentage are right on top of each other. That's hilarious. 25th, 24th. Wolves are leading. Golden State 8th in 3-point percentage because Curry sucks now. Ha ha. I'm just teasing. Block shots, we're still dominating there with 4th in the league to 11th. And steals, Golden State's actually got 2nd to 6th. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They force a lot of turnovers. Yes, they do. And yes, Curry does more than just shoot threes. Yes. And obviously the threat of his shot helps quite a bit, moving the ball around to a Klay Thompson, to a Draymond Green, to whoever, to whoever. Big man de jour driving, cutting to the basket, which could be Draymond Green, or obviously, you hope it's James Wiseman. I think he's been a minor bust so far, but there's time. I don't think he's gonna be a star though. I don't see it, but we'll see. We'll see. Minnesota lost to Golden State earlier this season, 123 to 110 in what? Well, it's not the Oracle anymore. It is, and we're going to be playing in Target Center coming up. I keep forgetting the name of that building. Is it Chase? Does it even say? Yes, Chase Center. Yeah, that's the credit. Chase credit, whatever the heck. Chase in general, it's a bank. Yeah, we're happy for him. Golden State again. Now Klay Thompson's back. He's played 3 games so far, and he's shooting 35%. But I'm surprised he's not going to be that good right away. But if he does get back rolling again, we'll see. I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was before. The odds of that are slim to none. I mean, when you consider an ACL, and before you even come back from that, Achilles, it's just like, wow, that's pretty harsh. Pretty crazy. So I would say the odds of that are very slim. How many NBA players return from Achilles and dominate at a high level? Kobe did not dominate at a high level after the Achilles injury. Dominique Wilkins did not. Patrick Ewing did not. They just didn't. They were still good. And God, I love Dominique Wilkins so much. Anybody that listens to this show, but he wasn't as good. Actually, he did have 1 or 2 really good years. I apologize. That's right. His Achilles actually was way back. That was like 90, 91, wasn't it? 91, 92? Yeah, that was way back. So I apologize. 92, 93, Dominique had 1 more really good year, and then he kind of gradually dropped off. And by the mid-90s, he was a really, really good role player. That kind of guy. By the mid-90s with like the Spurs and stuff. And then he went overseas for a minute first, though. That's like, come on, man. stay here. Gary Payton II playing in playing in the area where his father grew up, like Oakland and San Francisco area, the Bay Area, as they say. Gary Payton II playing in his father's homeland. About eight points and 3.5 rebounds a game. He's getting the steals. Yeah, there's steals everywhere. That's why they're way at the top. Curry, yep, I've seen him knock the ball away 100 million times throughout his career. 3-rebound percentage is under 40, averaging 26 a game. He was one of the leading scorers earlier in the season, almost 30 a game. He's dropped off a little bit, and I'm happy about that. Good. Come on. Pride comes before a fall, Yeah, I'm not a fan, dude. 42% for the whole season. And there's this other guy we traded away, Yeah, he's actually having one of his better seasons. 48.6, again, because he's playing more of a role, but he's still a big piece. He's actually the number 2 scorer on the club. 18.6, that's Andrew Wiggins, if I didn't mention his name. He's averaging 4 rebounds a game now. Wow, he went from 2 to 4. Yes, Andrew. Now you're showing everybody that you can rebound. But, yeah, the point, though, that really does matter the most is that the number 1 stat for Andrew Wiggins, yeah, that free throw percentage still sucks. 71%. Come on, man. But, yeah, keep missing them against us. But, come on, man. But yeah, I'm highlighting it right now. Unfortunately, you can't see it. 48.6 from the floor. That is a huge, huge, huge deal. Smarter shots and better execution. It's that simple, and that's the difference. That's where, obviously, Golden State, the culture there is you take smart shots and you make them. Unless you're Steph Curry, you take any shot anywhere, anytime you want, as long as you're open and all that, even if it's like 7 feet behind the 3-point line, which is about what Brandon Ingram did to us, and occasionally our friend D'Angelo Russell did this week and hit him. Looked pretty damn good doing it too. With all respect, he had a great week, D'Angelo Russell. He should have been an honorable mention, frankly, but he had a poopy game against Memphis, so I can't give it to him. It's not going to be an easy game. The fact the Warriors are struggling and the possibility and the chances of the Wolves, the odds that the Wolves often get at least one win against the Warriors this season, occasionally two. I think the Wolves, I think we win this game. I think we're going to win this game. With the way Golden State's been struggling, I got a good feeling, but maybe I'm way off. The home game thing, I hope the Wolves have a shot at this. I'm going to give the Wolves a shot at it. Let's look at Golden State's games here. I didn't even mention how, again, they're 1-4 in their last 5. They lost 99-82 to Dallas. They lost at New Orleans, so I guess misery loves company. 101-96. Beat Cleveland. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, Cleveland's actually way better this year, but 96-82. What the hell is that, Cleveland? 82 points. Memphis lost exactly the way we did. 116-108. I thought that was us there. And then Milwaukee, an absolute demolition. 118-99. So it's a little Midwest trip for them, the Warriors. January 14th in Chicago tonight. And then Sunday evening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, a Midwest trip for the Golden State Warriors, where they head back to Cali to host the Detroit Pistons. They might actually lose 4 in a row, and I hope they do. But maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe they'll beat Chicago, or they'll just lose to Chicago and beat us. It's kind of a pick 'em. I'm hopeful. I'm going to pick the Wolves to win. I'm going to step out on a limb. It is what it is. I'm not going to lose any money. You'll maybe just laugh at me, and that's okay. I guess that's part of the entertainment of it all. The Wolves will beat the Golden State Warriors. Final score of 116-110. Wolves beat the Warriors. I think they continue to struggle. Leading scorer for the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards. 35. Minnesota heads to Madison Square Garden, where the Wolves have had many maddening performances, maddening evenings for many, 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 many years, and the Wolves will not beat the Knicks because we just don't beat the Knicks for some reason. Cam Reddish is on the Knicks now. That's interesting. Cam Reddish is now on the Knicks. Former Atlanta Hawk. That's extremely interesting. Kemba Walker, of course, again. But yeah, Cam Reddish has a sprained ankle as of Jan the 3rd. Kemba Walker knee situation as of New Year's Eve. Derrick Rose ankle as of December 18th. New York beat the Wolves 96-88. I expect more of the same in New York. Unfortunately, the Knicks are 4-1 in their last 5, so they've been playing much better. They're getting back into playoff contention. The vibe has picked up a little bit. New York beat Indiana just like they did in the they did some of the playoffs, and Indiana beat New York and some of them as well. 104-94. I believe the Knicks beat Indiana back in '94. Yeah, the East Finals. Yep, to go to the to play the Houston Rockets. Back in good old '94, that was a fun season. It was like a nice little break from Jordan, and then it's like, okay, Michael, we missed you. Come back, please come back. Even though it was fun to have a break, like not watching the Bulls win every bleeping year. 104-94, Knicks beat Indy in New York. They beat the Boston Celtics in a rivalry, the East Coast rivalry there. 108-95. They get crushed in Boston, 99-75. Yowza. That was Thibodeau's club growing up, though. You know it was, and in the and he was like a young adult as well in the '80s. Just hearing it in his voice, like the Celtics. Yeah, you could hear it in his voice when he was getting interviewed by PA years ago. PA locally, Paul Allen. Home game for the Knicks versus the Spurs. There you go, rematch of '99 finals. 111-96, getting a little revenge all these years later. Not really. Beat the Mavericks 108-85. Impressive. Absolutely impressive. After getting crushed by the Celtics on Jan 8th, the Knicks have been downright great. So we'll see. Wolves are a very streaky club. 3 wins, 3 losses in a row. 4 wins in a row. Now 2 losses. I think we lose 3 in a row. No, we win 2 in a row, beat Golden State, but then lose to New York. Unfortunately, I think the Knicks beat the Wolves in Madison Square Garden. 108. I keep coming up with that number. It seems like 108-99. Knicks beat the Wolves. Karl Anthony Towns leads the club in scoring, but the Wolves do not win. Karl with 28 versus the Knicks at the end. of the day. Atlanta Hawks, they're having a frustrating season. It was a fun playoff matchup last year, Hawks and Knicks. That was a great series. And the Hawks actually were favored. They had home court and all that. But the Hawks ended up getting the job done, and they went all the way to the East Finals and got outlasted pretty handily by the Milwaukee Bucks. State Farm Arena. That should be where Chris Paul plays, or Aaron Rodgers, one of the two. Clint Capella, that's my other favorite non-Timberwolf out there. Like, I could build a whole roster, probably, like my favorite center, non-Timberwolf, Clint Capella. Favorite power forward, he's got a big mouth and he drives me nuts, and maybe Green. I don't know. I'll be quiet. I'll shut up. I don't want to talk about that guy right now. Draymond Green. The Hawks, though, 17-23, an inferior record to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They did beat us in frustrating fashion in Target Center earlier this year. They looked like the Atlanta Hawks of last season, where they were fantastic. Best uniforms in the league, bar none. Atlanta Hawks have the best uniforms in the NBA. Unfortunately, they just haven't been playing well most of the season. They've had injuries, and it's also been a back and forth, disappointing season, just a letdown. You know, you're hoping this team's going to keep doing what they've been doing, but they're not. Trae Young's putting up unbelievable numbers. Shooting 45%, it's not too bad. Almost 10 assists a game, 28 points a game. Collins apparently is not happy in his role. Maybe he's not getting the ball enough, that kind of thing. How many shots is he attempting? What? No, that's made. Only 12 shots a game. Huh. Only 12 shots a game, where Trae Young's attempting 21. I could understand that. That would get old. Pass the ball a little more. I mean, obviously, you get a lot of assists, but, yeah, I don't know. There are some cooks in the kitchen there. Bogdanovich averages 11 shots a game, and he's not even shooting well at all, like 41%. That would get old. Cam Reddish is on the Knicks, apparently. He was traded. Must have been very recently. Yeah, this had to be very recent, because I didn't hear that trade, actually, so I apologize for my ignorance. Okongwu, obviously a nice rookie, but he's hurt. He's just coming back. Danilo Gallinari's really dropped off. A lot of stuff isn't happening, but he's had so many good games against the Wolves. Kevin Huerter's killed us. So, I don't know. I got a crappy feeling about this one. And it's in Atlanta. The Wolves never win there, ever. Can we make up for the loss earlier this season? We'll see. Well, the Hawks are 1-4 in their last 5. They got beat by Portland 136-131. Yikes. They beat Sacramento. In Sacramento, 108-102. In Los Angeles, they get crushed 134-118. Lakers are playing better. So are the Clippers, 106-93. In Los Angeles, it was a Staples Center / Crypto.com arena. Yes, Crypto.com arena, two-step there. And the Hawks get crushed by the Heat. Get burned by the Heat, whatever. 115-91. Yeah, that'd be great. Wolves go into Atlanta and get the job done. You want to be a playoff team. You want to be in the 8. You want to be in the 10. You want to be in the whatever. You want to be in the 7. You want to be in the 6, the 5. You got to go into Atlanta and beat the Hawks. You got to take care of business. This is a game you need to win if you're a playoff team. Not just if you want to be taken seriously, but just make yourself serious. Just show us you are serious, for real. Go in Atlanta and win. The Wolves will beat the Hawks. Final score, 123. It's going to be a fairly close one, 123-117. Wolves with the victory, and Atlanta, Georgia's finest, Anthony Edwards, scores 40 points to beat the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be the Anthony Edwards show. He's going to look like Dominique Wilkins out there, and he's going to have some of those up and under type, spectacular plays. You're going to see some great dunks, and you're going to see some good shooting. Anthony Edwards puts 40 points on the board, and the Wolves beat the Hawks, 123-117. At the end of the day. With that, we'll take a quick break and see what's out there with fan interaction, Facebook and Twitter. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, segment number 3. Gonna get the ads out of the way really quick. The Vig It application, Vig-It, V-I-G-I-T, Vig-It application. Look it up. It is on Apple and Google or Android devices, of course. in the Play Store or whatever you want to call it, the application stores. It is fantasy betting, social media for sports bettors. You can post about your picks, see what others are saying about games. Vig It Betting Leagues, a month-long betting competition to see who the best sports bettor is over the course of a month. Free-to-play sportsbook bet, free coins, win real prizes. Betting stats. There's great information available on the Vig It Likeline movement where the public is betting. So again, this is not real money wagering, pardon me. It's like fantasy betting and competing against others to see who the best bettor is. It's a lot of fun, and you can also use it as a cheap sheet, basically. Crypto.com, pardon me, I highly recommend Crypto.com. It's for cryptocurrency. I'm opening it right now on my Samsung Note 10. Well, I had it. There we go. It has a trading folder. Crypto.com, highly recommended. Of course, you can trade, Bitcoin, Shiba Inu. Fun to trade. Shiba Inu has been on the rise a little bit. Bitcoin is cheap right now. It might sound expensive at $43,000 a single coin, but the fact of the matter is you don't pay $43,000. Just buy little fractions of it. That's all you need to do, and then the math goes from there. 50% is 50%. You put in $50, it's 75. Blah blah blah. But Bitcoin, of course, obviously that one's already pretty big. That would be more of like just making hopefully like a safe gain, because obviously I do believe it's undervalued at the moment. Where Shiba stocks like that could be, or stocks, cryptocurrencies like that could be, extremely lucrative as they go up. I've made a few grand off of Shiba already, to be quite honest, and that's not a joke. I've made a few grand off of it. I probably should have sold earlier too when it had a little dip, because obviously every time there's a big jump, there's a little dip afterwards. That's what happens with stocks and cryptocurrencies. It's not really too different. People buy the heck out of it, and they're like, okay, I better take something out, and that's why the price would drop. But then again, you can get back in and get ready for a bounce back upward. So that's the fun part about cryptocurrencies. There's a link in the show description. Click on that, and that'll show that I referred you. It'll have my referral code in there, and then we each get $25 put in our accounts. So you can get started with $25, and believe me, $25 in the crypto world is a lot more than you think it is. Believe me. So again, you don't have to invest tons and tons of money, and the fees are insanely cheap. So don't worry about that too much, unless you're investing like $50 million, because it's a percentage, and it's a tiny percentage. But again, like $50 million, yeah, that would be a lot of money then. So with that, do jump on board there. The Twitter account, unfortunately, it looks dead this week. Bummer. And that's probably my own fault, because I was quiet. Today must have been busy. It was kind of a busy week. Like barely even a little time to catch up with the games. I mean, I was able to, but it was not easy. Just kind of a busy week. Hasn't been the funnest week of my life. Hasn't been the worst either, but I've had better. It just, it just is what it is. And of course, it's been very Viking-centric in this town with the firing of Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman. The Minnesota Vikings will have a new direction going forward, and I'm actually quite happy about that, even though, you don't want to relish in somebody's loss of their job, but at the same time, they needed to change. Something was rooted that was not working, and they needed to change it. It's that simple. Bring in a Bill Guerin type of personality. I think that'd be amazing. Even if the Vikings could head in a better direction very soon. Unfortunately, again, there's apparently no fan interaction. I thought there would be, but hope all is well. Like Ted Tanay, Vince, Tanay out of New Zealand, Vince out of Australia, Vince Germano, Stu Benson out of Australia, Wayne Hunt, of course. Again, that's the guy. He's the biggest fan of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm a huge fan of their show. But it's been on hiatus since the summer. Hope you guys are coming back soon. Courtside Podcast. Again, another shout out, another bat signal. Come back, guys. Please come back. Vince, if you're listening, I hope you still are, and Wayne, hopefully he still is too. That he hopefully he heard me praising his team and his favorite player. I'm sure. Please come back and let me know what the story is, because I haven't heard a whole lot about it lately. But the Courtside Podcast, highly recommended. There's always the archives for now. Plenty of great shows that are still there, just like Timberwolves Explosion. Check those out. If you want to call into the show for this one, open your free voice recording application that's on every smart device on the planet. Open it, press record, talk into it, treat it like a phone call. Hit stop, save it, /share it to Paladinolive@yahoo.com. Paladinolive@yahoo.com, which I would then convert into an MP3 file thanks to Zamzar.com. They provide a free service because the file is nice and small. But if you ever need a lot of huge files converted, frequently, then you sign up for a subscription. But Zumzart does a fantastic job, so highly recommended there. Final thing, please write a positive rating for Timberwolves Explosion on Apple Podcasts / iTunes, Stitcher, or Audible. Those are the 3 applications that allow you to do that. Please help out the show by doing that. It's been a little while there. It's been quiet, so I could use a little help there. I think it would help the show. With that said, God bless all of you. Hope the Timberwolves continue to win at least 2-1 this upcoming week.